Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dina Udi Azahra. My lesson number is 32. So here I want to explain about characteristic building in education. Next slide, please. So the first one is, what is characteristic building? Character building is experiences which teach you some of life's lessons. Lessons like keep your word, pay attention, don't run with sharp objects. Many character building experiences hard and may contain a significant emotional experience. Character building for children isn't a course offered in school, but it should be. Next slide, please. Okay, here there are some tips for teacher to apply characteristic building. The first one is important of knowing the students. Knowing a student's interests can help you as a teacher to create example to match their interesting, or maybe to match their skill. If a student who loves basketball comes to you with a question about mathematics problem, you might respond to him or her with a problem involving basketball. This type of specific responding shows that you care about him or her. The second is positive discourse with students. Uh, you can think that what you say about the difficulties students in the classroom. Are you constantly have them with requests to do something or telling them to stop doing what they are doing? No one likes being pestered, and your students are no exception. Instead, you should find a time or place where you can have positive discussion with the problem students. The third one is giving students meaningful feedback. You can give them meaningful feedback that say you care about them and you care about their learning. Or maybe you constantly telling your students about their skills on conversation, or maybe their skills in grammar, or their skills in listening or something. And then you can telling them about their body position in the classroom, facial experience, facial expressions, and the tone of voice when you teach your students. Okay, the fourth one is create a positive climate. In here, if you want to be a teacher and you can apply the character building, be sure to allow time for your students to link the concepts and skills. They are learning to their own experiences. You can build fun into the things you do in your classroom. In other words, you can plan some activities that create a sense of communication, so your students have an opportunity to see the connection between what they already know and then the new thing that they didn't know before when in the learning process. The next is relationship with difficult students. Actually, in one classroom, there are some students that has difficulties. Maybe like they are naughty, or maybe they are difficult to understand the lessons. So difficult students require more energy on your part. For example, you may need to spend time with them individually to get to know them better. You can talk by them. Maybe you can give some suggestion, or maybe you can ask about what is their interest and you can motivate about their interests. The last is respectful and sensitive interaction. So in here, a teacher can support the relation between yourself as a teacher and as a student. It is important to be applied in the middle or maybe in the high school students, or maybe some of teachers some of teachers use this respectful or maybe sensitive interaction in the elementary school students. However, to enhance the results of students' learning activity, as the application of class management, at least two requirements should be fulfilled, such as, next slide please, such as do and don't. So in here, you can maybe you can know about what you need to do and why maybe what you don't need to do in the classroom. So the first one is do. So in here there are five points that can you do or apply in the classroom. Number one is make an effort to get to know each students in your classroom. Always call them by their names and strive to understand what they need to succeed in the school. The second one is make an effort to spend time individually with each other, especially those who are difficult or shy. So it is like challenging for you as a teacher. It can help your students about their creativity or maybe their positive relationship about the other students in the classroom. The next is be aware of the explicit and implicit message you are giving to your students. Be careful to show your students that you want them to do well in school through both actions and words. The next is create a positive climate in your classroom by focusing not only on improving your relationship with your students, but also on changing the relationships among your students. So you can improve the relations between teachers, students, or maybe students to other students. Okay. So the teacher can show increase in, the next is their teachers can show increases in stress hormones when they interact with these teachers. So teachers can make some, they can increase their creativity, maybe hormones, when they can interact with the teachers about the progress of students in the classroom. Next slide, please. Okay, here is what you don't need. Here there are some points that don't need to do in the classroom to build the characteristic for the students. The first one is don't assume that being kind and respectful to students is enough to bolster their achievement. Actually, ideal classrooms have more than a single goal. In ideal classrooms, teachers hold their students to appropriately high standard of academic performance and offer students an opportunity for an emotional connection to their teachers, their fellow students, and the school. The second one is don't give up too quickly on your efforts to develop positive relationship with difficult students. So in here, there are many students will benefit from a good teacher, or maybe they can get so many knowledge and positive relationship between teacher, and it can make them easier to get along with peers. The next is don't assume that respectful and sensitive interaction are only important to elementary school students. So not only for elementary school students, but also it is respect for middle and high school students. They can get a benefit from such relationship as well. And the last is don't assume that relationships are inconsequential. It means that some research suggests that preschool children who have a lot of conflict with their teacher show increases stress hormone when they interact with other teacher. The next slide, please. So here there are tips for parents to increase or maybe to build the characteristic for the students in education. The first one is get connected early. The second one is know your child. The third is help the children to respect authority. The fourth is set limits and provide your child structure. The fifth is expect obedience. The sixth, model discipline. So actually the sixth for the model disciplines is the best way or the best tips for parents to to make or to create characteristic building in their child uh, in their child characteristic, especially in education. Okay, the seven is nurture your child's self-confidence. The number eight, shape your child's behavior. Number nine, raise kids who care. Number 10 or the last is talk and listen. So talk and listen means that you can talk to your children whether they want some suggestion or maybe some advice from you, and you can listen about what they want to tell you about everything in their life. Okay, next slide. Okay, I think that's all for my explanation. So here I want to open question and answer section.
Yeah, please. Elsa, please.
Yes, Dea, please.
Okay, thank you. So in your PPT, you said that don't assume that being kind and respectful to students is enough to bolster their achievement. So my question is, what kind of other things that can support or bolster their achievement?
Okay. Okay. So there I would like directly to answer your questions. So your question is what kind of other things that can support or bolster their achievement or maybe their students' achievements. So actually for to bolster or support students' achievement, for the teacher, you should know the characteristic or maybe the skills of the students. You can pay attention to the students and can create some motivation to make some achievement for their goal. And for the parents, parents should know about what they want to do in the future. So the parents should know about the children's the children's ambition, or maybe they can motivate also their child, and they can also make some suggestion or advice to create their their to create their mind to achieve the goal in their life. I think that's all there. Did I answer their question?
Yes, Dina. Thank you. You did.
Okay. Next question, please.
Dina, Salsa.
Okay, Salsa, your question.
Okay, Dina, I want to ask, is there an effect if we are as a teacher spend time individually with each student, especially those who are shy or difficult to communicate? Isn't it just waste our time?
Uh, Thank you, Salsa, for your question. Okay, let me tell you that actually, if you want to give some chit chat or maybe deep talk to your students one by one, it is really important. It is not waste your time. So trust me, if you are going to be a teacher in the future, you must can can talk to other students with the difficulties, what their characteristic. Example like they are naughty or maybe they shy and they cannot they cannot get some knowledge in the subject. So you can, the first one, you can motivate them, and then you can give some suggestion, and you must know about how to be a good teacher for them when you teach in the classroom. I think that's all, Salsa. Did I answer your question?
Yes, Nina, you did. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, next question, please.
Yes. Okay, my name is Muhammad Rizky Pratama.
Yeah.
I would like to ask, can the teacher apply character building to the students other than in school? If it is, why? And if it's no, why? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Rizky, for your question. Okay, it's really good question. So for my opinion, actually teachers also can what they are give the characteristic building to the students when they are in the outside of school. If example, you spontaneously meet your students when you go out to the park or maybe to the mall. You meet your students. Uh, they did something wrong, especially not polite. You can suggest you can talk to him or her not to do that. You can give some suggestion, like I said before, to Salsabila also. And also, it is really challenging for you when you are to be a teacher. It is your profession. You can also not only teaching, but also you must know about your students' characteristic building. So actually, my answer is yes, Rizky. So the teacher can give or maybe create a characteristic building to the students when they are in the outside of the school. Did I answer your question?
Okay, thank you, Dina.
You're welcome.
Dina, you mute.
Okay, I think that's all for my presentation. Thank you. Good afternoon. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.